And now we want to welcome in our Prudy Ladd back after the holidays. Well, good morning, Prudy.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy to have you in.
Yeah, thanks.
And of course, Prudy with the Yellowstone Historical Society does the research for our trivia questions, which is fantastic. And this week's question was a tough one. Miller, go ahead.
All right, here we go. In 1905, the United States Congress approved funding for the largest irrigation project in the United States. The Huntley Irrigation Project, located east of Billings, opened up land on the south side of the Yellowstone River for farming and homesteading. So here's the question. Fill in the blank. In 1905, the U.S. Congress approved funding for blank miles of canal that will irrigate about 35,000 acres of land.
And the answer was exactly 30 miles.
Right.
Unfortunately, there was no winner this week, though a couple of people were really close. Let me see. I'm going to give some honorable mentions here. We had a 31.5 guess. 32 was guessed by Mara Pai. Honorable mention to you. We had, let's see here. Adaloa Berman guessed 32 as well. Really close. And Sydney Schaefer Gabel guessed 31.5. Still close. And Jay Braley guessed 32. So congrats, you're all very close. But the exact answer was 30. Prudy, can you tell us about it?
Well, you know, I can tell you that 30 acres is what Congress approved. In order for this to happen, the Yellowstone River at the time was still considered navigable. There's a word, Miller. Navigable.
You should do birthdays and anniversaries with
Navigatable?
us.
Navigatable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just as much as a liability as him.
Right.
She's going to do birthdays and anniversaries with us moving forward.
And at the time, you needed congressional approval to do anything to a river that steamboats could still go on. However, it had been 25 years since a steamboat had been on the Yellowstone, and we may or may not know, they only came as far as as far as Billings or Colson anyway. But they got congressional approval and they got the funding to build the canal. The canal starts at Huntley itself, right behind the little Huntley bar there is where the canals start, and today they end in Pompey's Pillar. This original 30 acres, 30 miles, was not the completion of the canal. They came along later and completed the canal and increased the acreage in which it irrigated. A couple of real interesting things about it is that from the minute the dirt started flying, they had 5 years to use them and populate the area, or it broke the treaty. The treaty with the Crow Nation was the original 1868 treaty, but it was modified in 1903. By 1905, when all of this started, then they had 5 years. It took them about a year to complete the canal, so they had 4 years to bring people in and start farming. It happened. We're still there. We're still irrigating. We're still using the canal. Really, a little side note on the canal was that just before it opened, the night or 2 or 3 days before it started to rain, and it rained, and it rained, and it rained. But this canal was due to be open. It was the first in the United States, big canal, really important. So they got out there and opened the gates, and after several days of rain, what do you think happened?
Flooded.
It washed out all the gates. It just went from one end to the other. It didn't irrigate anything.
Oh, wow.
And then by the time they got it all repaired, and they were earthen dams, of course, so by the time they got it all repaired, the Huntley Project lost the note of being the first large irrigation project. It went to Arizona.
Oh, no.
Because they couldn't get it repaired in time to do that. We do still use the canal system today. It's a great, we use it all over. My kids used to float in it. I lived on the canal for many years.
Yeah.
So it's a great part of the project. Lots more information out there about it.
Certainly.
So the wonderful museum, you get out there and get to see that museum out at the Osborne Experimental Station.
Okay. Well, Prudy, thank you so much. So interesting. And we'll have another question from her last week. Try again next week, everyone, and stay with us. More Montana This Morning is up next.